Welcome to the Fiat Ministry Show, episode 133. Welcome back. It's a during the day. I do have a day off sometimes, mostly on Fridays with my work schedule. So it's great to be able to be on live. If you hear anything in the background, that's my children. We'll try to keep them on some Kindles and watch a couple movies while we do a great show. I'm really excited. Actually, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook. But we got this Brett, who's going to be on the show tonight or today. I got the information from my mother-in-law and hearing about a situation that, he was an artist and some, mention of pro-life, and the venue that was going to do the art show canceled it. And so we kind of want to know what happened, and it's just something that we want to share and promote him because of him doing something of that nature, of sharing that, but still trying to fight the good cause of life and sharing his gifts of being an artist, and also becoming a newly becoming a Catholic. I'd love to hear his, everything that's going on, how he's, everything that's going on as becoming Catholic with the artwork that he's doing. I know there's an art show that's coming up that he'll want to promote in Colorado. So anyone locally over there, but he does have a website that will pop up and share with you, so you can definitely log into his website and check it out. But we'll start out with a prayer, and then we'll get right into the show. If anyone has any questions, please, send them in through any kind of our Facebook, YouTube, or website. We'll pop up. I'll bring that back up. It's just fiatministrynetwork.tv/live, and you can watch us live there also. We are usually on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, and that's the best time to catch us. But we'll start with a short prayer and just let everybody a happy Assumption yesterday, and everything that's going on with Our Lady, and just that lovely gift that Our Lady gives us, and the devotion that we need to share every day and pray, for her and through her to help everything that's going on in this world, because there's a lot of things that are going on that we need to get, through Our Lady. So let's pray. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, thank you for Brett. Thank you for this evening, this show, to just allow us to talk about life and the gifts that we all have as an artist, or anything that we do to serve you. And thank you for Our Lady. Thank you for everything that she does for us every day. And thank you for allowing us to know you more and more through all the amazing people that we share on Fiat Ministry Network. And just allow us to say yes to you every day and every moment of the day. Use our Fiat throughout the week, throughout the months and years of our lives, to know that you're number one, and we need to always try to be a role model for others that are younger, to know that you are the most important person in all of our lives. So in your name we pray. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. So we will get Brett right on. And how are you doing? We'll turn that off. How are you doing, Brett?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Yeah, how are you doing? Thank you for coming on. I mentioned before the show that my mother-in-law mentioned sending a link about a situation that you had. But if you wanted to share your Fiat getting to being Catholic and then getting into that situation of, mentioning of the pro-life with the venue with your art show and the upcoming art show, which we'll display and have a couple links up for you to share. But is there? Yeah, it would be great just to hear your story, and that would be, as becoming Catholic.
Awesome. Yeah. It's funny because I came into the Catholic Church this past Easter. And it's funny because I get asked all the time, like, how did you end up becoming Catholic? And it's hard to try and condense it into a short packaged form because it was just a long conversion. And really it was a lot of different small conversions that all amounted to me actually coming into the Catholic Church. So it wasn't just like this lightning bolt thing that happened for me where I was just like, okay, yes, Jesus, like I'm ready to come home to your church. But for me, I think one of the biggest pushes initially was a couple years ago, I was living in St. Louis and I just hit a point and I had a relationship with God at this point just through general prayer and spiritual principles. I wasn't going to church really at all, but I was seeking God. And I just hit a point of just emptiness and I had a lot of fear and anxiety about my life. I just lacked stillness and okayness generally. And so then what I started to do is I just started to pray a lot at night. I would get on my knees and I would just pray until and so I started seeing to God more and more through that. And then during that time period, I just had the random thought, like, I'd like to go check out a cool church. And so I ended up at the Basilica in St. Louis, which to this day is easily the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It had 40 million mosaic tiles lining the ceilings and the walls and all this stuff. So as an artist, it just totally blew me away. And so that kind of propelled me to just start to question, like, what is this? Like, what is the Catholic Church? And so I would go to mass and I would pray a lot and read a lot, just sitting in the chapel. And I loved it, just having that space to be able to do that. And then so I ended up meeting with a priest, and I still had just zero clue on what the Catholic Church was, or like just the amount of depth and richness in their belief. All that I knew is like, this place is beautiful and I'd like to get to know what it is. And so then from there I met a really loving man who played a role in just mentorship with me and gave me some spiritual direction. And he never pushed his own Catholic belief on me, but he really would just share about his life and encourage me to listen to my heart. My heart was clearly telling me, like, to dive into the Catholic Church. And so, like, he would say things like, let me get this straight. You love going to mass, but you don't go. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you love to paint. You love to paint, but you don't paint. And I was like, yes. And he was like, so what do you think your life would look like if you actually listen to your heart? Mm-hmm. And I was like, probably a lot different. So I started doing that. And so, yeah, those were like some of the bigger things that got me to finally convert. And yeah, just this past Easter, I converted, and it's the best. Like, I can't imagine what my life would be like not being Catholic at this point. Like, the amount of friends that I've got, because I live like 5 minutes away from the Augustine Institute. So I have a lot of friends that are students there, and it's just fun to just hear them rant about theology. And I don't know, I get to learn a lot from them. So yeah, that's the short version of my story.
Well, I think just hearing that and then having that, the gentleman just to get you kind of, into the sense of focusing, not to push it on, because I think that's what happens a lot of times is you get people are like, you gotta, people are fired up about the faith, but
Right.
then maybe someone is little lukewarm about it. It's not like you're not on the same level yet, so you have to just let them, just get your toes wet and kind of at least just explain a little bit. But for as an artist, because I think about seeing all these amazing just mosaics and everything that you see in these amazing churches. I mean, it's just it's amazing. And as an artist, you take just a little bit more for it's just something that you probably see a little bit more into than just someone like that's pretty. I mean, I don't know how to do it. I have no artist artistic abilities at all. My kids have better artistic abilities than I do, but it's just one of those things that you probably see as, and you're questioning. That's the thing that I love to hear about, as people are coming into the church, to question and not to be afraid of questioning, to ask questions about the faith. But was it a lot of, I mean, was it a lot of questioning, or was it kind of like I knew where I was going? I just just needed to figure out the timing and all that, and how the process is. I mean, was it a gradual progression, or was it more just like, okay, 2019, I know that I have to do these steps to become Catholic. I mean, it was that kind of the
Right.
gist. Yeah.
Um, Man, it's hard for me to totally tell. I mean, like when I entered into RCIA,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it was just they gave us like a fire hydrant of
Yeah.
information. I was just blasted with like all these different teachings on Catholic Church. And
Yeah.
so, and then of course, what happens is you start to go, okay, so every belief that the Catholic Church has, they actually have like a very reasonable and logical, historical, scientific explanation for.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when you start to hear the truth, then you start to go, but what about this stuff? Or what's their views on this?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's just kind of what's happened for me. And at different points, I've had more questions than other points. At some points, it was just nice for me to just be in RCIA and just start to be okay with my life changing. So it wasn't like this insane, like um, this rigorous study of
Yeah.
theology that I
Mm-hmm.
jumped into while I was becoming Catholic. I think some people do kind of take that route. Like I have a friend who converted just through reading St. Thomas Aquinas,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, whatever this guy believes, I'm going to be a part of that. And so he ended up
Right.
becoming
Yeah.
Catholic through that. But that was not my experience. But too, and I was dating a woman who's Protestant while I was going through RCIA. And so she was getting all freaked out, being like, "What are you doing?" And like she would ask me about Mary, and she'd be like, how do you feel about praying to her?" And I wouldn't really have any answer. I'm like, I don't really know what Catholics believe on that. And then I'd
Mm-hmm.
learn about what they believed, and then I was like, oh, that makes sense why they would pray to her.
Mm-hmm.
And that like Catholics, we have different definitions for things. Like when we say we pray to Mary, it's really just that we're communicating to her.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the Protestant tradition, if you say I'm praying to somebody, that means like I'm worshiping them,
Mm-hmm.
which like I said, the Catholic Church has a little bit different definitions on things like that. But
Yeah.
so, so yeah, I think like just I've gone through different waves of questioning things, but it was definitely a very gradual thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Very gradual thing, and yeah, like I said, I can't imagine my life not being Catholic
Be
at this point
Catholic.
because
That's
like
that's
yeah,
all.
it's
Yeah.
just it's
There. Yeah. That's the answer. So now, because of the situation as an artist, and mentioning a couple, uh, just give us a little bit of background of what happened, of the situation at the venue for doing your art, that I believe was not actually pro-life art. Was that correct, or was there some art that was kind of pro-life, or was it mostly just artwork that you were going to share at an art show, and but you share it better than I did. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, absolutely. No, thanks for asking. So I actually haven't made any explicitly pro-life artwork. So the reason why the art show got canceled is because I'm a pro-life person.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so what happened was earlier this year, I have a friend who's co-owners at a venue that hosts artists. They have artists do month long shows. So I was signed up to do one of those. The opening night was going to be on August 3rd, and um, and so yeah, like what happened was over that time period, I became more and more Catholic, and then I was being given like more and more courage to actually stand, because I've actually been pro life for a while before I became Catholic. So it wasn't like totally this thing where I was
Um,
just like, okay, I'm
yeah.
Catholic, so I'm gonna be pro life. It was like, no, I believe that babies are human even in the womb, and that
Yes.
we have no right to take their life. Um, So yeah, what happened was I made two posts on social media about me being pro-life, and one of those was a painting that I did for a pro-life book. Um, and then a couple days after that, my friend, who's the co-owner for this venue that I was going to be doing the art show at, he just shot me a text and he was like, "Hey man, I just want to let you know I totally respect your religious beliefs and admire the spiritual path that you're on. However, we won't be affiliated at all with any sort of that goes against the goals of our community. And so, because of that, the art show and the opening is canceled." And so I was just somewhat in shock, um, because that was the first time that I'd ever been really discriminated against like that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for that type of belief. And so I contacted one of my friends who works in the pro life movement, and she started talking to me. She's like, "I can get you in touch with lawyers and stuff like that." And really, like personally, I just didn't want to go the legal route because I'm like, I don't know. I think in some cases, totally, totally worth doing. But in my case, I was like, I'd rather just make a post on social media about it and talk about how insane it is to cancel an entire art show based on somebody's personal beliefs, that like something like abortion is wrong.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just talked about that on social media, and then that post got shared a lot, and so it actually definitely worked to my benefit. It got me, like Live Action wrote an article about it. Students for Life wrote an article about it, and that's the reason why I'm on the show. So it's it's actually got me in front of like a lot of different, in front of a pretty big pro life audience. Um, and so now I decided, so that art show wasn't going to be explicitly pro life at all. But since then, me and my friend, we decided, okay, let's do an explicitly pro life art show in the middle of Denver, Colorado,
Yeah.
which is heavily pro choice. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be like you can see on the flyer there. It's September 6th. Uh, yeah, that flyer, the time is actually incorrect. It's gonna start at 6:30 because
Oh, okay.
at the cathedral in Denver, they have daily mass at 5:30. So we want to do it like immediately following that because you can just walk to this building after the mass. Um, so it's actually gonna start at 6:30.
Okay. All right.
But yes, that's kind of the whole story behind what's been going on with me.
Well, it just hearing that and to go through something like that, I mean, just a remarkable way of acting. So now you're going to, okay, we're going to make our own pro-life art show, and right in, Colorado, Denver, I mean, right in the heart of, I have a lot of respect for you, Brett. It's one of those things that, just reading up a little bit of about you, we communicated on Facebook a little bit, but to hear what you're doing is just remarkable. To go with a situation that might have been, you could have gone into lawyers and got into a lot of mumbo jumbo that, you know, the nice part of it was you got these different websites, these great organizations to feature you, to then promote what your artwork. And then
Yeah.
now to have this situation of, okay, I'm going to do something about it. If I am going to be not allowed to go to this art show, I'm gonna basically create, with some help with some friends. We're gonna do an art show, and kind of you bring it up, the pro life art show. I mean, it's right there. I mean, because humans
Yeah.
are awesome. I mean, it's
Yeah.
simple, and it makes sense. I mean, why not? And with doing that, I mean, you know, have you seen like I know you've probably seen some, but with the people, getting in touch with you with the art show, have you seen different organizations or anyone that are, saying, "Hey, we want to be part of it too. We want to, help, not maybe not on the art side of things, or maybe financially, or, down in the future, can we, work together in other ways?" Do you hear, are you getting that kind of feedback at all? Anything that's helping?
Yeah. So Pro Life Future is going to be sponsoring the event.
Okay.
Um, and Pro Life Future, they are an organization of young adults that just hosts different pro life events, and they're a side company of Students for Life, I think. I
Okay.
don't totally know the logistics behind that, but yeah, so they're going to be sponsoring the event, and then I'm about to do a. Uh, it's weird because we haven't made it yet, but we're in the process of creating a video where I'm going to be painting, uh, uh, just creating a painting in a time lapse while my friend is doing a spoken word on being pro life. And he runs his own nonprofit. So that's going to be, yeah, just a partnership that I have with that nonprofit. And his nonprofit is called Souls of the Christian Apostolate,
Okay.
similar to Focus, but with more
Oh, all right.
emphasis on tradition and the interior life. So,
No, that's awesome. I mean,
yeah, excited.
it's just, I mean, I mean, there's a lot that comes out of a situation where a negative becomes many positives. I think that's kind of
Yeah,
what God is
absolutely.
working at. I mean, there's some ways that you could look at something like that as, okay, you got one negative, but look at all these positives that are coming out of one little situation. But I just,
Totally.
it's just, let's talk about your website and the artwork that you're doing. I mean, you're focused now mainly on kind of a Catholic Christian art work. I mean, that's your focus on the website. If you want to, promote anything on the website or anything, I can bring that up right now. But what I'm looking at is
Sure.
amazing. I mean, it's great. But yeah, if you want to
Thank you.
share a little bit more in depth, go ahead.
So yeah, I specialize. Well, how I create the paintings is I primarily use oil paint. Um, I am in love with detail, so I do tons of detailed portrait work and detailed religious and sacred art. Yeah, obviously, I'm totally in love with the Catholic Church at this point. Um, so I'm going to be making as much sacred art as I possibly can, and but I'll do portraits on the side for friends and whatnot. But yeah, my favorite art period is the Renaissance period. So right now I'm just kind of learning more about those artists' styles and inspirations, and um, yeah, it's so yeah, and I'm still just kind of starting out right now. 3 months ago, I decided to pursue art full time. So
Okay.
right now, I've just been in the middle of creating a body of work, so that I'm able to have art shows, things like that. So next week, I'm going to um, be a part of an art show that's going to be in the basement of the cathedral in Denver. Um, and then we have the pro life art show, and so now at this point I sort of have a body of work that I'm going to be able to be a part of art shows.
Yeah.
Or yeah, so with this body of work I'll be able to be a part of art shows now. Um, so yeah, and what I hope for in the future is that I can start painting ceilings and whatever for different parishes. I just would love to do that. So that's the goal.
Well, I mean, it's just I love this. I mean, there's a lot of them that are really amazing, but I mean, this one, let me see if I can blow it up a little bit. But there's a lot that you've done that are just wow. Like if there's anything that Fiat, but
Thank
just
you.
I mean, it just show. I mean, there's a couple other ones with I put up for the show, but I mean, it's just I know it, but it just got me. You know, I just think of the precious blood, like his precious blood. It's just a beautiful, just a way of showing that, and in a, you know, it's just a very. I mean, it's just I think that's part of what I know. A lot of people kind of look at art um, as one of those, you know, ways of, you know, showing the faith, because there's so much artwork out there that you could go, you know, any church is out there, but it's beautiful to see that, you know, someone of, you know, our, you know, in my peer group doing something for, you know, I mean, I'm a little, you know, in the age, but just to see that you're coming to, you became Catholic and now you're really focusing, you know, you'll do other different artwork, don't, but I mean, to have kind of that visual of the Catholic Church into your art and kind of feeling that spark of, okay, my work is going to be what I love, and it
Right.
makes
Yeah.
it makes the probably the work and painting the much easier for you. You focus on something and then you're like, wow. And but
Oh yeah.
is that the best way to get onto any kind of items that any paintings that people could purchase, or is there the website, or is there any other locations that you sell your artwork?
Yeah. So right now, on my website, I'm selling just prints of original artwork. So it's
Okay.
just good quality copies of my original pieces. And for now, the only original pieces that people will be able to be purchased are going to be in person at different art shows that I'm going to be doing. And
Okay.
so those will be posted on my website. I actually don't have those art shows posted on my website, but I should do that.
Okay.
So yeah, and then obviously, if people contact me through email, I do commission work, custom commission work. So if anybody wants anything custom for their home or for their parish,
Yeah.
they can contact me through my website, either by phone or by email. So
Okay. That's great. And so it's Brett Lempe. I
correct.
should have said okay.
Oh no,
So
yeah, people rarely pronounce it right, so you did great.
I I pronounced nothing correctly, but I'm glad I did it for you. BrentLempe.com, and I'll spell it for anyone that's listening on radio. It's uh, just RETTLEMPE.com, and
Right.
that's brettlempe.com for anyone. And so we can definitely get that out. We have a couple of those. If you do that QR code, everybody, that if you're watching and you have your phone, that will take you directly to the website. So that's a kind of a nice way of getting right to the website without any kind of typing in. So QR codes do work still. We do use them. But if there's anything else, I think I really appreciate it. I know it's a different time for everybody to watch, so I think everybody's. But I do appreciate Brett coming on. I know a lot of art shows and things are at evenings, so it was kind of difficult for him to come on in the evening. So I'm really glad that we could, touch base. Especially, I'm really excited to share this to my mother-in-law, as
Yeah.
she got me in touch with you. So I really appreciate doing that, also for her and for you. So yes, I will definitely say hi. And but if there's any final thoughts, anything that you would like to share, and if you're okay with it, share a quick prayer, and that would be great. But Brett, thank you again for coming on the show.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks a lot for having me on. And I'm always asking for people's prayers, for to help with. I don't know, because the ultimate goal for my artwork is for evangelization.
Yeah.
I know that one of the best ways to evangelize people is through beauty. At least that was my experience. So I hopefully will be able to provide that same experience for other people too, for them to start questioning, like, okay, what is all this artwork being inspired from?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just ask for people's prayers, that they would pray that I can be a solid instrument or tool for God to use for evangelization. And yeah, those are my
No.
closing thoughts. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Oh no, thank you very much, and God bless, and just thank you again, everybody, for watching. Please comment anything. We will check everything later too. Please again subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can go to our website fiatministrynetwork.tv to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook. And again, to Brett, go to his website, check out, you know, any kind of paintings, or ask if you want to contact him. Please do that. He needs your support, and I really appreciate his time on the show tonight. Again, we'll be back next week. I will have a guest. I think it's going to be Jim Sheets that's going to pop on. We'll be talking a little bit about, there's a couple of topics that we are working on. We'll mention it on, or post it on the Facebook page, so you know before we go on. But there's a lot going on in the church, just many blessings. We want to share that we do love the Catholic faith, and saying yes to Jesus Christ. There's definitely have our fiat every day, and continue to build on that. So thank you again, Brett, for your time. Thank you for your love of life, because I think that's, in any sense of what we're doing, life is what means the most to everybody. If there wasn't life, we wouldn't. No one would be here. So
That's very
I
true.
think I think we need that. So, but anyways, I will let everybody know to what the actual topics will be on our website. And thank you again for having us on again. And please support us financially. We do ask for prayers always, but any financial, we do have to, it does cost a little money to do this. But thank you again. And until then, we will see you next week on the Fiat Ministry Show. God bless, and have a good morning.